Hey everybody, just finished a new saber hilt. This one is a collaboration between myself and Cad Bayne, or Bayne Fett, on the FX-Saber Forums. I think his new name is Cad Bayne. And he asked me to take an MHS design that he had, and he was going to buy the parts for this design, and he asked me to add something to it. So I decided to use the multi-shroud technology that I sort of do, where I stack pieces of shroud on one another. So what we did was we took the MHS Mara Jade sleeve, and he sent me one of those, and I cut it up into slender pieces using the Mara Jade. The indents up and down the Mara Jade sleeve, cut those long ways, and then made my own pieces for grips to go underneath that, which were wider. And we'll cover some of the hilt here, some of the fluted section of this body. This body has the pommel on it, so I just want to show Cad Bayne how to assemble the saber. I believe he is going to be putting electronics into this. I don't know if it's a crystal focus or what it is. Maybe a petit crouton or a nano biscotte or something like that. I have no idea. But he does have a bar graph for PLI. So what I did was I inserted a piece of plastic into a hole I cut so that it acted as a diffuser. And this is how you put your PLI in, or your bar graph if you're using this crystal focus. This is a 1.5 Allen key. You'll need one of these. I'm not sending one with the saber. Pretty much all the screws on here I used button head with the 1.5, or recessed no head screws with the 1.5. Okay, so this is the bar graph. Calvary Custom Sabers makes very nice bar graphs. What you do is you just line up the holes. These holes I threaded. You have to line it up with this plastic part. So what you do is the control box hole, as you can see, you can easily see through to that section with the plastic. So what I'm going to do is line it up. On the underside, I'm going to undo these screws a little bit more. Okay. Now once I have it pretty much where I want it for the first screw, as you can tell here, this just has to be tightened through the bar graph. So once you have the bar graph all wired up, oops. Once you have the bar graph all wired up, I suggest then dropping it in. So I don't know if you can see. I don't think you'll be able to see, but my finger's holding the bar graph in place while I tighten that first screw a little bit. Once you get the screws in the hole there, it'll be aligned. Now just make sure the screw is completely flush, because a shroud piece is going to lay on top of that. These screws don't have any head to it. Okay. So now the bar graph is in place back there. So I've labeled all the pieces in the back with a letter. So this one's A. This one's really easy to tell where it goes because it's just the longest piece. And the first thing I want you to put on is the cover tech. Now this one's the black one, this one's mine. I'm just showing you for the video. But yours is the brass one, which I will put on before I ship it to you. Now just hold the shroud piece on with your thumb. You know, you want it to be flush with the body there. Now, the next thing we're going to put on is the control box for your recharge port and your rice port. That goes on with the button head screw that you sent. Now I'm holding this flush to the body, the shroud piece, while I tighten this screw, because this is the primary screw that's going to hold this top piece flush to the body. And I like to look right here. See, it doesn't look too flush right there to me, so I'm going to back it off. Sometimes all you have to do is move the shroud piece over a little bit because it's not properly aligned. Tightening this box down further. Now, the final part to go over this B section, or this A section, is the painted grip piece, and this one has two little screws as well that will be flush. So what you want to do is usually take one of them out there, line one of them up. See, this one's shorter than the rest because it butts up against the cover tech. So there's a hole right there for that. I'm just going to begin the threading with my finger. And I just make it flush. I'm also pressing down because I don't want any wiggle when we're done. And this one looks like it could be tighter. Okay, so that's the first piece that you need to install. Well, the whole saber is going to come together, but you will disassemble before you install electronics, and then figure everything out and then put everything back in. So as you can see, there's the window there with the bar graph that we have sitting behind it. The screws are hidden because it's like I showed you before. It's held back there. So now you can see there's a hole for your recharge port. What you can do is work with your recharge port here and get it threaded through, and then continue the wiring, because you're going to have to turn this through. It is going to be pretty much flush there. There is enough room for the head of this to pass by the main body. I made the hole big enough so that this section passes through the main body, and then you will reach the control box and tighten it up, and then you'll have your wires here. Continue to wire it or finish wiring it at this stage. That's what I would recommend. Okay, so on to the next piece. Should go a little quicker from here. We have piece B, which as you turn clockwise with the pommel facing you, that is how we'll go alphabetical. So A, B. Just lining those holes up there. Just labeling this one B for you. I'm going to get one of them started by hand. So again, with this one, I want to depress because I want this grip piece to be flush with the body. So especially for the second screw, I'm just depressing, making sure that this is going to be as tight as it can be. Making sure there's no space. There looks like a little space right there. Sometimes that can happen when you're threading. There we go. Okay, so those are flush mount, how do you say, recessed. So these are solid so far. So let's continue. This is piece C. Have a little arrow facing up. That's the top of the saber. So now we're on the back side of the saber. I think we're more than halfway there. I'm going to get one of these screws. I'm going to mark this C for you. This piece isn't marked. Got that one in, looks pretty flush. Let's try the bottom one. Okay, so as you can see, like in the design that we talked about, we have it's flush mounted there to the pommel section. Okay, so during the install, I'm not sure if you're going to put a chassis in here or what, but these some of these may not even have to come off. These grip sections, it just kind of all depends on how you want to do it. This one's D. This is the last one. Okay. Like I said, you probably want to put in your ports before doing this last section. You have your buttons. Possibly, you know, maybe the wires are coming out of here. You wire up your buttons, okay, and then you wire up your buttons out here, and then you're going to install it. Now, just keep in mind that the short screw here, I had to chop one of the screws. The short screw here is for the top, and the long screw is for the bottom. Okay, so that's the main saber, and the piece I didn't alter at all. That's your shroud piece, your emitter. So that all goes on, and I'm not sure if there was a screw for this. Potentially it was that screw. I'm not sure what was in there, but okay. So this is the saber all kind of finished, and after my fingerprints are on it, we could kind of scrub it up a bit. But this is the saber. So you probably want to do some kind of pommel insert. This one that I have has the the holes that you already have up there, but basically your pommel insert, and that's how the saber goes together. So you'll have your bar graph right here. The first little nugget in the bar graph is there's a channel that runs up there, and then the next 6 are fully visible. The first one, there's a channel with a plastic lens, so that one will be like minimal when if it's PLI, when the battery goes all the way down, or the number 1, depending on how you mount your bar graph there. But all of them should be visible with the plastic diffuser that I made. So there's your belt clip, your grips, and everything. So I hope you like the saber. That's how you put it together. I'll try to shorten up the video maybe while I'm doing the little screwing and the screws and stuff like that, so that it's not too boring. But yeah, so I hope you like it. Let me know, and we can get this shipped off to you. And it was really fun doing this for you. So I hope you like that with the fat grips at the bottom. So it should be almost like Graflex sort of rubber pieces, but here they're metal. So thanks a lot.